Once upon a time, in a little house on the flat plains of Kansas, lived a girl named Dorothy. She was a kind-hearted girl with big dreams and a little black dog named Toto. Dorothy lived with her Uncle Henry and Aunt Em, who loved her very much. Life in Kansas was simple but sometimes challenging. There were no hills or trees, just wide-open fields that stretched as far as the eye could see. The wind blew strong and sometimes brought storms, but Dorothy and her family were used to it. One day, as Dorothy was playing with Toto outside, her uncle shouted for everyone to come inside quickly. A big storm was coming, a cyclone. Dorothy tried to catch Toto, who was scared and ran under the bed. Before she could get him, the cyclone hit their house. The wind howled and roared, and Dorothy held onto the bedpost tightly. Suddenly, everything went dark, and the house was lifted off the ground. Dorothy could feel herself being tossed around as the cyclone carried the house high into the sky. Hours passed, and Dorothy didn't know where they were going. Toto barked and whimpered, scared by the strange journey. Finally, the wind stopped, and the house landed with a thud. Dorothy cautiously opened the door and peered outside. To her amazement, she found herself in a place unlike anything she had ever seen. It was a land of vibrant colors, with tall trees, sparkling streams, and fields of flowers as far as the eye could see. But it wasn't Kansas. Dorothy stepped outside, holding Toto close, and looked around in wonder. Suddenly, she heard a voice behind her. "Welcome to Munchkinland," said a cheerful voice. Dorothy turned and saw a group of little people standing nearby. They were dressed in bright clothes and had big smiles on their faces. "We're so grateful to you," said one of the little people. "You freed us from the wicked witch of the East." Dorothy was confused. She didn't know what they were talking about. "You see," explained another little person, "the witch was very mean to us. But you landed your house on her and squished her. Now we're free." Dorothy felt a mix of emotions. She was relieved to be safe, but she was also worried about what had happened to her family and how she would get back home. As she was thinking, the good witch of the north appeared. She was beautiful, with a kind smile and a gentle voice. "Thank you for freeing the Munchkins," the good witch said to Dorothy. "As a reward, I will give you the witch's magical silver shoes." Dorothy looked down and saw that she was wearing shiny silver shoes on her feet. She had been so focused on the cyclone and the strange journey that she hadn't even noticed them before. "These shoes will protect you on your journey," the good witch continued. "And remember, if you ever need help, just click your heels together 3 times and say, 'There's no place like home.'" Dorothy thanked the good witch and slipped the silver shoes onto her feet. Then, she realized that she needed to find a way back home to Kansas. "I must find the Wizard of Oz," she said to herself. "He's the only one who can help me get back home." With Toto by her side, Dorothy set off along the yellow brick road that the good witch had told her about. She didn't know where the road would lead or what adventures lay ahead, but she knew she had to keep going. Along the way, Dorothy met new friends who joined her on her journey. The first was a scarecrow who wanted a brain so he could think and reason. Then, she met a tin man who wanted a heart so he could feel love and compassion. Finally, she met a cowardly lion who wanted courage so he could be brave and strong. Together, they walked along the yellow brick road, facing many challenges and obstacles along the way. They encountered dark forests, deep rivers, and dangerous creatures, but they helped each other and never gave up hope. One day, as they were walking through a field of poppies, they encountered a wicked witch who tried to stop them from reaching the Emerald City. But Dorothy and her friends were brave and clever, and they managed to outsmart the witch and escape her clutches. As they continued on their journey, Dorothy and her friends grew closer, forming a strong bond of friendship and trust. They shared their hopes and dreams, their fears and insecurities, knowing that they could always count on each other for support. Finally, after many days of traveling, they reached the Emerald City, where the Wizard of Oz lived. The city was dazzling, with towering spires and gleaming towers that sparkled in the sunlight. Excited but nervous, Dorothy and her friends approached the gates of the Emerald City and asked to see the wizard. They were ushered inside and led through the city streets to the wizard's palace, where they were greeted by a grand and imposing figure. The wizard appeared before them as a giant head, surrounded by smoke and flames. He spoke in a booming voice that echoed through the palace walls. "I am the great and powerful Wizard of Oz," he declared. "What do you seek?" Dorothy stepped forward, feeling a mix of fear and determination. "I want to go back home to Kansas," she said bravely. "Can you help me?" The wizard listened to Dorothy's request and nodded thoughtfully. "I can help you," he said. "But first, you must bring me the broomstick of the Wicked Witch of the West." Dorothy was shocked. She hadn't expected the wizard to ask for something so dangerous and difficult. "But how will we find the witch?" she asked. The wizard smiled mysteriously. "That is for you to discover," he said. "Go forth, and may luck be on your side." Dorothy and her friends left the Emerald City and set out on their new quest to find the Wicked Witch of the West. They traveled through dark forests and treacherous mountains, facing many dangers along the way. Eventually, they found the witch's castle, a dark and forbidding fortress hidden deep in the heart of the mountains. With courage and determination, they stormed the castle and confronted the witch in her lair. The witch was powerful and cunning, but Dorothy and her friends were stronger together. With quick thinking and clever tactics, they managed to defeat the witch and seize her broomstick. Triumphant but weary, Dorothy and her friends returned to the Emerald City and presented the broomstick to the wizard. The wizard was impressed by their bravery and resourcefulness and promised to fulfill Dorothy's wish to return home. But as he prepared to send Dorothy back to Kansas, Toto ran off, chasing after a cat. Dorothy panicked, knowing she couldn't leave without Toto. "I can't go without Toto," she cried. The wizard smiled kindly and waved his hand, casting a spell to bring Toto back to Dorothy's side. With tears of joy, Dorothy hugged her little dog tightly, knowing that they would never be apart again. With Toto by her side, Dorothy clicked her heels together 3 times and said the magic words, "There's no." Thanks for watching.